With Smooth 98.1 FM. Good morning and welcome to the hump of the week. And it is the locker room, and Tega is right here on hand. Good morning, Tega.
Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the locker room. What's happening today? Nothing much, nothing much. Just opportunity for more banter. That's all it is. All
Yeah.
right. So good morning and welcome to the locker room. Today we'll be talking. There's not much else happening in the world of sports right now, apart from the Premier League, the midweek matches. And so there's a big match coming up tomorrow. Just one small matter of Chelsea versus Manchester United. So except they play a draw, there'd be banter. So we'll touch a little bit on all the Premier League matches that are going to happen, but we'll also go to Turkey. Remember when I was saying people should not promote that social media video?
You did.
Yawa has boss, like they say in the street. So we'll touch a little bit on Osayi when that happens. But for now, let's just tell us how we can be a part of the locker room, and then we take the headlines before we take the stories.
To be part of the conversation inside the locker room this morning, we expect you to send us a WhatsApp message. Send a WhatsApp message over to 0809-444-0981 will be where we read your WhatsApp messages on 0809-444-0981. Then you can also go over to a YouTube channel, youtube.com/smooth 981 FM Lagos. Subscribe to the channel and then leave us the comments there, which are to pick them up as we get along. So, Tega, it's done.
All right, so let's take the headlines and then we run straight into the stories.
On the bill this morning, Nigeria's Bright Osayi Samuel, among Fenerbahce's players, probed after the burst up with fans. And then Erling Haaland, Pep Guardiola defends Manchester City, a striker after Roy Keane's criticism. And there would be Arteta says Arsenal may need a perfect run into win the Premier League this season. And of course, Spurs' top four hopes dented as in a draw at West Ham. Then there would be Martinez Lindelof deal Manchester United fresh injury blow. As Cameroon appoints Bryce as new head coach, you would find also Nottingham Forest coming out of the woods, boosted their hopes of Premier League survival with a convincing victory over Fulham at the City ground.
All right, on that note, first of all, before we go into the stories, let me just remind you, it's not too late to purchase your tickets for Abuja.
What's happening in
Falcons are
Abuja?
playing.
Oh.
Please, purchase your tickets. We don't want to hear that Super Falcons didn't have supporters and trying to qualify for the Olympics. I don't want to shout again. So quickly, buy your tickets. Let's support the girls. Let's also support them on social media as much as possible. And make sure we cheer them to victory, because the way South Africa are settling down in that Abuja, you would think that it is their land. They're just scared. Those girls are not playing. They too, they want to go to Paris. So, yeah. So it's a tough one. And remember, the South Africans are defending African Cup of Nations, Women's African Cup of Nations champions. And they beat Nigeria twice in that tournament before they won it. So, was it twice now? No, once in the tournament, because they beat Nigeria at the start. And then Morocco was the one that knocked Nigeria out. So yeah, just once before they went on to win the tournament. So please, let's go there. It's a tough battle. Let's go there and support the girls. All right, let's start with Bright Osayi. What's happening to our man, defender of the universe?
Voltron.
The conqueror.
Nigerian international Bright Osayi Samuel is one of the three Fenerbahce players who will appear at a disciplinary hearing of Turkish Football Federation following the burst up with Trabzonspor fans announced on Monday.
You see what I was saying? They're going to now appear in front of the disciplinary committee for fighting. So even if there was a self-defense involved, the charge is now fighting.
A player, a conduct unbecoming of a football player, right? Not well.
Yes. So Bright Osayi, one of his teammates for kicking the supporter that covered his face and that was on the
Mm.
ground. So their charge is fighting. Chelsea will get their own charge for invading the pitch, violence, yada 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 yada, blah blah blah. But the players are also to appear in front of the committee for fighting. So here's what, for me, here's how the disciplinary committee works. And this is why it's a disciplinary committee. This is not a hearing. I think, of course, they're going to take into cognizance that they were attacked and they had to defend themselves. But that picture and that video didn't look good. It did look like Bright was decking somebody, to use the word lightly. And then somebody went to put a warm mural up for him somewhere in Turkey. All those things, it's conduct unbecoming of a professional footballer. So I still think that regardless of all the things that they're taking into consideration, that those players could get a fine. Which is why I was very particular. I said, stop promoting this thing. Like, the more you hail him, and he's a black boy, please, you guys should be calming down. Better understand all these things. There are contexts and nuances to every situation that happens. So it's not just going to be self-defense now. So now three of them are standing in front of the committee to defend themselves for fighting. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it pans out for him. Hopefully, he'll come out of this unscathed. But yeah, that's what's happening right now. Tough one. Very tough for Bright to say.
And now to Manchester City, where Manchester City boss Pep Guardiola has defended striker Erling Haaland following Roy Keane's criticism after Sunday's nil draw at with Arsenal.
Yeah, so Roy Keane, first of all, this was not a situation of talking down, a rival. I think we all know that Roy Keane doesn't do that now. But Roy Keane said, and I quote, that yes, Erling Haaland has scored a goal, but that the way he plays, the way he finishes, that he plays almost like a second division footballer, not as a Premier League player. Now, I thought that was harsh. I understood what he was trying to say, that with some of the chances that Erling Haaland misses, you'd be surprised that he scores a lot of goals. I think, bottom line, that's what he was trying to say. And I quite understand and I quite agree, because there's some chances that Erling Haaland misses. It's just like, how are you one of the best strikers in the world and you're missing that? There's some his positioning is perfect. So he gets in the right position, he turns defenders in and out, then he takes a shot and you're just like, wait, was that an amateur or was that a professional footballer? Sometimes those things happen. And I do understand that it's the pressure that comes with where he was. I mean, think about it, his first season in England, he was scoring every other day. And then highest goal scorer, he was scoring every other day. It was every team. And then the second season is always going to be the toughest, because now you have to back up what you did in the first season. And it seems that the same way Manchester City has faltered this season, the same way Erling Haaland has faltered, but his own more so, because you know how it is with strikers or defenders, your mistakes are very glaring. And your misses are very glaring. And so some of those misses, you just think about them and say, you know what, for a striker that is lethal, for a professional striker, he shouldn't be missing those kind of chances like that. And so I understand what Roy Keane was trying to say, but to say that he plays like a championship player, what kind of
That was way
unnecessary,
too much.
unnecessary? He was about to hit his 30th goal if he scored against the Arsenal. That chance he missed. What are you talking about? Championship striker. It's a harsh one, but I understood what he was talking about. Albeit, of course, Pep Guardiola is going to come out and defend these guys. Even if Pep Guardiola, in the privacy of the locker room, will tell him, "Guy, you shouldn't have been missing those chances." But I mean, at least outside for now, he had to come out and defend his guys. And Erling Haaland is really going through it. I think he'll settle down eventually. But this season hasn't been a great one. Yes, I know he has still scored a lot of goals as compared to other people, but as compared to his productivity last season, he hasn't scratched the surface. So that's all that will come out of it. But today, Manchester City face an Aston Villa side. Now, Aston Villa, normally, I would say, very tough side to beat, very slippery slope, very tricky side. And I will hail, the fact that they play great football, the fact that they can cut open any defense, and the fact that they can score goals. But one time too many this season, Aston Villa has stepped up against some of the big boys and played completely abysmally.
Bim
So
bam bam.
in yes, so in as much as I want to tout this as one of the matches to watch this evening, I'm just going to say that you should temper your expectations with reality. Whatever you see, just take it like that.
Mm. Blessed are those who expect little, for they will not be disappointed. But let's get on
Amen.
to Arsenal. Now to Arsenal, Mikel Arteta said Tuesday that Arsenal may have to win all their 9 remaining Premier League games if they need to be crowned the champions as they prepare for the most beautiful part of the season.
I'm glad he
Arsenal.
said it with his own mouth,
Mm.
because it'll be crazy to expect that other people will drop points so that you can win the title. The truth of the matter is they may have to be perfect. They may have to win all their matches. And so they may have to win all their matches. And so ultimately, it's going to be a tough task, considering that they still have Manchester United there, they still have Tottenham there. Tough matches that that Arsenal need to face.
Arsenal.
Arsenal need to face. But today they have an easy one. And first of all, I would say this: they had Manchester City. Manchester City, of all the matches left, was the toughest one, and they were able to come away with it with a draw. Now, people will say, "Oh, that's a great result," considering the fact that Manchester City usually defeats Arsenal. I would say, based on the form of both teams on the day, that Arsenal dropped 2 points. You can argue about it in the privacy of your room. I'm the one with the microphone right now, and I will tell you that Arsenal dropped 2 points that they could have taken. And so that's already 2 points dropped now. But they have to win the next one. The next one has to be the next ones have to be perfect, and they start with Luton this evening. Now you'd say, but Luton is a beatable match. It's a beatable team. Yes, Luton is a beatable team on anybody's paper. But Luton is that kind of team that can make you work for it. Remember when Arsenal met Luton? They had to score a last-minute goal to come away with a 4-3 result. And Luton has just been known to push teams. You beat them, maybe 3-2. 2-1. There's always that hope that Luton will still come back into the match somehow and make you struggle. And so, as much as on paper this looks like an easy 3 points, it's not an easy 3 points, and it's a midweek fixture. Midweek fixtures are hard for a lot of teams. They struggle at a lot of teams. They don't give their best performances during midweek fixtures. So this can be an interesting one. I'm not saying Luton will get one over Arsenal, but this will be an interesting one. So yes, I agree with Mikel Arteta. The first thing he needs to be telling his boys, we need to win all our matches, and they need to come out like that. So get ready to play till you drop.
It is still the locker room on Smooth 98.1 FM. We expect the messages to come in reacting to the stories and, of course, Haaland, how we can get back in form. I see messages relating to that already, but be sure to send them yours to 0809-444-0981. We can also get the messages on the YouTube platform, youtube.com/Smooth981 FM Lagos. We're Smooth 98.1 FM, and this is the locker room. Okay, anything you want to say?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Are there messages coming in?
Yeah, I see messages. I see a couple of messages here.
So when we come in with those messages so that we can get more people coming.
Okay, noted. I see messages also. I see one on YouTube also. So that's it. It is still the locker room on Smooth 98.1 FM. Tega's still here. And so let's get on to see what the messages are looking like already. Let's go over to WhatsApp. WhatsApp here, we've got three. I see more, of course, but let's go. I see a message from Mayowa from Ikeja, and he says, Roy Keane and Haaland's dad have a history, so I will take his criticism with a pinch of salt. That's what Mayowa has to say relating to using a sledgehammer for just that one game to judge us.
Yeah, I don't think so. It was not just one game. It's overtime. This season, there are many matches this season that you've seen him miss some chances. I just like Haaland. So I would say the words were harsh, but I understood the intent of the words. So this has nothing to do with
Son.
father squirrel or mother squirrel. Because even I have said that this season he struggled to score some very easy chances. Yeah, and I'm
Okay.
not quarreling with Erling Haaland's father.
And I was going to say, that point where you say the most difficult thing to do is score that ball, miss the goal, but then it should, and the easy one to do is score, but then you do the difficult one, missing the chances. But let's go. AY's messages here. Haaland must learn how to impose himself in a big games when he's given little space or uh, given little or no space at all to operate and completely man-marked. This is where his technical abilities are called into question. And Tayon
Mm-hmm.
says, Arteta with wishful thinking. I'm not even sure Chelsea, with their lackluster performance, will drop points, but will still maintain their 10th to 11th position. And then I go over to YouTube. Chimobi is waiting already, and he says, well, Chimobi Victor, truth be told, Erling Haaland haven't been fantastic this season. He keeps missing chances upon chances, and is the reason why Man City is third. Man City two, Aston Villa two. Tega, will you agree with me? That's what he says.
No, I don't agree with you on the scoreline, and I don't. I certainly don't agree with you on the fact that Erling Haaland is the reason that they're third. Um, I would say the entire team has dipped in form after playing the treble last year. I tell people it's easier to get to the top than to stay at the top. So you play the treble, you win the treble last year, and it becomes a little tougher to just keep that momentum going. Because what is the motivation? You've reached the top of the mountain. Why do you want to climb again? And so that's where that's where it's tough for teams to. That's why when you see teams that are able to keep momentum year after year, they are working harder each year after than the year that they actually worked to achieve. So I don't agree. Erling Haaland is not the reason Manchester City are third. I think it's the entirety of the team that is the reason Manchester City are third.
Tottenham Hotspur missed the chance to move into the top four, winning the well-held 1-1 draw at West Ham United after Brennan Johnson early strike was cancelled out by Kurt Zuma's header in their Premier League clash on Tuesday.
Yep, West Ham Tottenham. Of course, you have to know once it's a London rivalry, it's a completely different ball game entirely. And then both teams came to the pitch and they were looking to get one up on each other with for different reasons, with different motivations. And Tottenham, especially trying to get into the top four. I do remember at the end of the match that Postecoglou said that he wishes he could use a joystick to control his players. Because yes, they didn't play brilliantly, but once they got into the 18 into the final third, to in and around the 18-yard box, is that poor decision making or poor finishing, and they couldn't take advantage of the match. And then second half, it was West Ham United that had opportunity after opportunity, and I was just mad at them because their chances were more clear cut than Tottenham's first half chances. And so to see that they couldn't even finish it off to at least win that match by 2-1 was shocking. So David Moyes too would also be mad because it looked like drop points from the West Ham performance. Albeit, yes, Postecoglou and his guys were, of course, very angry that I mean, his team couldn't win. I understand what he meant when he said, I need a joystick to control them. Almost like he wants to use a video game to play the guys into great positions. But yes, his team didn't do a good job. They didn't cover themselves in glory. And even if it was a London rivalry, they should have at least done better. So on that note, tough one for them. Aston Villa is chasing the same spot. Even Manchester United is chasing European ambitions. So all these drop points here and there are 9 matches to the end of the season. 9 matches is still a lot. So that opportunity is still, the door is still open for other people to take advantage of that position, is my point.
Talk about the devil, and they appear somewhere in the next story. Manchester United defenders Lisandro Martinez and Victor Lindelof have been ruled out of action for at least a month due to muscle injury. Argentine World Cup winner Martinez's season has been decimated by a series of injuries. Can you go worse than this?
That's what I was going to say for him. Very tough one for Lisandro Martinez. The butcher appears to have been butchered by injuries. Unfortunately, this season not been a great one for him. When he came in, he did give a good account of himself, but you know, the first level of ability for anybody is availability, and he hasn't been very available. Which is a tough one for him. And then to think about it, Lindelof also has been a good squad player and has been great when he's been in rotation. And to think that they're facing a Chelsea side tomorrow is going to be interesting. Now, this one is a cracker because I know people say, but they're no longer big teams. No, but they are big to each other. they may not be big teams in the scheme of winning the Premier League, but they are big teams to each other. And remember the last time out how both of them battled it out. They're going to have to slug it out again. Chelsea this time trying to come out from the 10th position. Why did I say 10th? There's not the 10th position since.
11th? You meant to say 11th?
11th. They are comfortable at 11th. They've built houses. They've had children. So at that 11th position. So trying to get out of the bottom half of the table. Manchester United trying to close the gap between them and Europe is 8 points between them and Europe. And so they're trying to close that gap to see if they can just sneak in there. So they both have motivations, varied motivations, and it promises to be a tough match. So to have key players, especially in defense, where Manchester United is struggling, because that's where the goals keep coming out from. They can score 1 or 2 goals, but they always concede. And so that's where the tough pill is to swallow. So to miss key defenders like that can be tough, but they still have to put up and show up. So I just want to know your thoughts tomorrow between Manchester and United and Chelsea. Whose problem is worse? And I'm not asking that because I want to tell me the story. I'm asking that so that I will know what your scoreline will be. What will be the outcome when Chelsea take on Manchester United tomorrow? The numbers to send your messages to are
0809 444 0981 0809 444 0981. We're still getting
so tell us your predictions. Yes. Also on YouTube. I see YouTube people too. Also on YouTube. Just tell us your predictions for the match tomorrow. The 2 middle table teams, Chelsea and Manchester United. I'm looking for trouble this one. What would be the outcome of that match? All right. While we wait on your predictions for the match tomorrow, let's take the next story.
Let's go over to Cameroon for the next story. Cameroon have appointed Belgian Mark Bryce as the new head coach of their men's football team. The sports ministry said in a statement issued on Tuesday following news in February that former coach Rigobert Song's contract would not be renewed. Tega, you're muted.
As usual. All right. On that note, let's talk Cameroon. So Cameroon had just like Nigeria after the African Cup of Nations. The question was, would they be able to? What was the next step? So the first step was Samuel Eto'o sacking his former colleague and friend Rigobert Song after Cameroon's outing at the African Cup of Nations. And so the hunt was on for a coach. But they have found a coach and the contract has been signed. So he is the new technical director of the team. Now, the good news about this is that they've now decided who their coach is. It was a swift one. They looked into the team. They didn't put temporary, interim, part-time manager. They just went ahead, looked for a replacement, got a replacement from Belgium. Not the biggest coach you know of, but the thing with national team coaches, sometimes they're not the biggest names, but they will bring the results. Now, unlike their neighbors on the other side, who have part-time, interim, they've collected all the CVs in the world. All the CVs in the world. They're still here. World Cup qualifiers, they've dropped points in the first two matches. They're still here. Friendly against Mali, they lost 2-0. They're still here with part-time manager.
Why don't you just mention the name of the country? Since you mentioned Mali already, we know where you were heading.
No, it's not from my mouth that you will hear this one. You know the name of the country. They will be there doing part-time manager when they are mates. I mean, you have to understand intentionality. Sometimes you just need to know what exactly you're looking for, and then you go for it. But when you don't know what you're looking for, how much you have, what you have to, it's true, because how much you have is also key to who you employ. So, I get it. If you have good money, you employ experts. If you don't have good money, you employ people that you are ready to teach. So as it is right now, that country, they are still doing part-time manager when their mates have employed manager from Belgium. Is all I'm saying.
Those who live in glass houses don't throw stones. Those who live in glass houses don't throw stones anyway.
If you know them, tag them in YouTube.
I don't know them.
But me, I will not say anything.
I'll find a story, Tega. This is despite Fulham's threatening a comeback in the second period, the home side's three first half goals were enough to move them 3 points clear of relegation zone against Fulham.
Yes, so I had vested interest in this Nottingham Forest Fulham game because of the Nigerians are involved, and Nottingham Forest being in relegation zone wasn't sitting well with me. You mean that Taiwo will just come up and go down like that? No. And so, in as much as I was excited, to see Fulham continue playing brilliant football and getting fantastic results, I was a little bit skeptical and interested in seeing Nottingham Forest come out with 3 points, and great one, they were able to win that match by 3-1. So safety, as long as Nottingham Forest is safe, they're out of relegation for now. Hopefully they'll keep climbing up and they'll keep staying out, and then they'll survive the drop. That for me is the important thing. The Nigerians on both teams.
All right, let's go over now to messages on YouTube as we wrap up and close the locker room this morning. I see AGK.
Did they tag anybody?
They didn't tag anybody.
Hey, please, I was not around.
AGK Neke says 2 useless teams that keeps on given this season. Manchester United and Chelsea. Tega, you need an outcome, at least both teams to score, perhaps 2-2. That's what he says there. And then Chimobi comes back and said, Tega, Chelsea nil, Manchester United nil. The two teams have nothing to offer. Watching that match will be a waste of subscription and data. And that's what he has to say. I'd rather check Score Live to get the scoreline. Then Padra Pio comes and says a scoreline will be 1-1, as well as Ogundikbe says on Chelsea versus Man United, both teams aren't in the best of forms, but form is temporary, but class is permanent. The game will be great. That's all he can say. So that leaves me with enough time to race down to see what WhatsApp platform is looking like. I've been taking all the messages on that platform. So let's see what Emeka Onelum's messages look. Okay, Olua Sheyi says this. It says Haaland missed lots of chances last season, even when he scored hat tricks. It was less glaring because he scored a lot of bountiful chances his team provided for him. This season, Man City had created less chances. Maybe they missed Gondwan, Mahrez, and Grealish lost from an injury and inexperience of Doku. That's what he can raise there for us. Mayowa, I'm looking at yours. He says Chelsea versus Manchester United, battle of John and Ramsey, 2-2. That's Mayowa from Ikeja. Emeka Onelum says, Lisandro Martinez is like the car that has been in a mechanic workshop for months only for the engine to knock again after leaving the shop.
Oh my God, there's so many rankings in the locker room.
It goes on. I'm sure the club's doctor will be tired of seeing his face. As for Bright Osayi, I have wondered why he's not a bouncer or a personal guard. That decking no be here.
I'm telling you, the decking was real.
And for Dr. Farayola says, Man United 2, Chelsea 1. That's his prediction. AY, that's from Oniru, says Chelsea nil, Manchester United nil. It will be another goalless draw, just like City and Arsenal 3 days ago. And final message, Big E from K2 says, Tega, Pep just should accept the fact as Haaland does not score against big teams. Pep, work on your boy and know this score. Over to two clubs that the gods of banter have rejected, which is Chelsea and Man
and
United.
Manchester United.
Today,
On that note,
expect a boring game and a full-time draw. That's it. Tega.
I don't think you'll be boring. I do not,
Okay.
but let's wait to see how Thursday turns out. On that note, I want to say thank you for sending in your messages to the locker room on Smooth 98.1 FM. We also want to say thank you for watching and sending your messages to YouTube. We also want to thank you for tuning in to the show. Till we come your way again on Wednesday and hopefully on Thursday, and hopefully, is
On
it
Friday.
coming again on Thursday? On Friday.
On Friday.
And hopefully, Friday, hopefully, Chelsea, Manchester United. Today is service in most churches. Go and pray that your team is not fodder for banter. On that note, aspire to Maguire.